So, here's the thing. I wanted to make another confession to all of you.
I got another confession to make.
And it's the fact that I've never played any Dark Souls game in my life. Yeah, I'm being serious. So, after my closest friend insisted me to play it, I decided to give it a go. And while I was at it, I thought about something. How about I make videos showing you my experience with the game? You know, a real first playthrough. However, in the process of it, it turns out that I was much more stupid than I thought, and uploading a video showing every single stupid thing that I did would have been boring, unnecessarily long, and tedious. So I thought to myself, how about I show you just the most relevant parts? If you like this concept for future videos, please let me know so I can see if I should continue with this series or not. Anyway, after a long prologue, let's get into it. Roll the intro! Remember that if you like the video, leave a like, a comment and subscribe to my channel because it would help me a lot. Having said that, let's get back to the video. I purchased the game and got the remastered version on Steam, so time to play the game. Oh, before I forget, I'm a bloody idiot, so the first parts of this gameplay will not have sound because, yeah, I messed up with the settings. I hope you don't mind, but it will be fixed in future videos, I promise. So, we start with the game, and the first thing is to create our own character. Great! Since Dark Souls is still a fantasy game, I can decide what or who I want to be. So, I decided to be a balding version of Reynolds. Amazing! Also, I made him a warrior because... I don't know, it's my first time playing, so please be gentle with me, senpai. We watched the intro, which is really dark, honestly, and captures to perfection the kind of experience I'm going to have in this game. Also, voice acting? Mwah. If only I could record it. Anyway, we start at a rotting dungeon full of rats and corpses. Huh, lovely. And here we have our character full of scars? What happened to me? Oh, someone threw food into my cell. This is my lucky day. Thank you, mysterious armored man. Woman? I don't know, I don't judge. So the game starts and I start getting familiarized with the controls of this game. First thing I do is a gesture. I don't know why, I don't ask. So, I get a key from the corpse and I proceed to exit the cell. Well, at least I open the door and start exploring the cell itself and learn the controls of this game. I swing my broken sword and move a little bit and roll my way out of there. I check my equipment and get rid of the helmet just so I can see Ryan's face as God intended. Then I regret my choice and put his helmet back. But remove his pants. Just like God intended. But then I change my mind once again and decide to remove his helmet just to see his precious face with no pants on. Just like God intended. But funny note here, I noticed that the fewer pieces of armor I carry, the easier it is for me to roll, so I start to understand the way their weight mechanics work. I'm starting to get good at this game already. Yeah, I know it's cringe that I said that. Even the prisoner is cringing as I speak. But I don't like taking criticism, so I do the thing anyone would do in my position and proceed to kill him with a broken sword. Nice! I see a stalker against a wall and kill him as well. I keep exploring this dungeon as I learn the basics of the game and keep on killing easy goals along the way. Once I get out, I finally find the first bonfire, the most recognizable icon of the game. I touch it, I heal, and I automatically save the game. Progress is looking good so far. I open the door and proceed to break the vases I see to check on any items I could use in the future. But it turns out that this was a bad idea because a giant blob monster appears out of nowhere, ready to kill me. Only 10 minutes into the game and I am already facing oblivion. Great. Okay, I can do this. I've seen gameplay of this before. I just roll and attack, right? Oh. It still got me. No worries, I can do this. I knew what I was getting myself involved into, so no turning back at this point. 2 points of damage? This is gonna take me forever. Is the settings of this game set on hard mode? I knew this game was hard, but bloody hell, this is ridiculous. Anyway, I failed to kill the monster and the most infamous message of the game appears in front of me for the very first time. You did. And as a casual gamer getting into this new experience for the first time, I am reminded of this fate as it is going to be repeated multiple times. Get used to it. Time to get good at it, I think to myself. Back in the cell, climb my way up, get the bonfire,
Making my way downtown, walking fast.
and back into action. But this time, I think to myself, there's gotta be another way. So I decide to escape instead and I find a hidden door. I go downstairs and I find another bonfire. Yes, this means progress. It means I'm on the right path. I read the message on the floor saying, get your shield. Right, I was just using a broken sword at this point. Maybe this is the reason I can't kill that huge bastard. I need a proper sword and a shield. Why did I sound like that? Anyway, and probably some pens, but honestly I prefer it this way. So I keep exploring and I get hit with an arrow. Okay, there's range attacks as well. Gotta be careful with this too. I find a heather shield. I proceed to equip it, but the shield is not there. What happened? I check again and the shield is indeed equipped, but I can't seem to find it. Am I doing something wrong? Am I that stupid? The answer is yes. I proceed to press every possible button to see if there's anything I may have missed, but I just end up attacking the air with no real results. What is going on? I mean, I know you might be cringing right now, but bear in mind that I've never played this game before. The answer might be obvious to you, but not to me. And it turns out that the icon on the left corresponds to the arrows on your joystick, meaning that I had to press left pad to equip it. You knew this, I didn't, so chill. Once I realized this, I properly equipped the shield and learned how to use it. Now I can block arrows from ranged attacks. I attack the archer and yeah, I'm not doing any damage whatsoever. I need a proper sword ASAP. So I go around the archer, get a sword from the corpse behind it, get away, equip it, and the archer is gone. No, seriously, this is not an edit. This actually happened and I'm not sure if this was part of the game to play mental games with you or if it was a glitch. I actually had to rewatch this footage 3 times to confirm what just happened and yeah, it disappeared out of nowhere. Anyway, I move on and now I find the indication on how to equip my gear. Oh, really? Now you mention this. Anyway, I move forward and I see another archer. But this time, yes, proper damage. Finally. 2 hits and it's dead. Now we're talking, baby. I see a door made of fog and I'm in what it seems to be a new area. I decide to explore a little bit and I get attacked by a giant metal ball like Indiana Jones. Great, now I also have to watch out for traps everywhere. This is wonderful. So I go up the stairs again and I find another ghoul that I am able to kill immediately without any problems. I move forward and I see a door that is locked, so my super detective instincts tell me that I need a key. I go back and go down the stairs, but I see another door. I think that if I go through here, I will advance on the story and miss on the important things that could or could not be in this dungeon. So I go back and explore some more. I find some broken stairs with a glowing item I can't really access, so I decide to keep exploring. I see a dead end and decide to go back. Yep, this was a waste of time. Because of this, I decide to go down the stairs once again and open the door to progress. Maybe there I will find my key, but here I am, back to the first bonfire before the giant blob monster. But now I have a proper sword, so maybe I can beat it this time. But the door is locked. Oh, dear lord. So I decide to go back and explore some more just to see if there's anything that I'm missing. I go back into the stairs and now I see a giant hole that was probably the result of the giant ball that knocked me down. How did I not see this before? I go in and I see a wounded soldier. Was this the same guy that threw the corpse with the key at the beginning of the game? Anyway, he talks a lot, gives me the Estes flasks that I know are meant to heal me. This is wonderful. And he also gives me the key that I was looking for. Great! Thank you, knight with the shiny armor. Now, don't get mad at me for this. Maybe I was not supposed to do this, but I killed that guy afterwards. It was an accident, I swear. I felt guilty afterwards, but hey, it is what it is. At least now I know I can kill NPCs and that I should be more careful from now on. So now I go back upstairs, kill the goblin and open the door. Finally! I read some messages on how to wield a weapon with both hands and how to do a kick and jump attack. This will come in handy, right? I kill the ghouls and I see a new door made of fog, but I decide not to enter yet. I want to keep exploring. I enter an area that explains the mechanics of the parry and critical attacks. I also find another ghoul, but this time it has an armor and Estus flask? Wait, that's illegal. Anyway, like a good officer of the law, I kill it and then ask questions later. I find another door which is also locked. I am tired of the locked doors already, so I decide to simply ignore it for the time being. I go back to the fork door and I read a message saying plunging attack, and my imagination goes crazy. Wait, will I be able to plunge attack the giant blob from a chasm and instantly kill it? No way. I'm so excited over the idea that I cannot hold myself. I cross the fog and there it is, staring at me with a menacing look. I mentally prepare myself for this moment, knowing full well that this attack could make the difference in the fight. And so I jump and... Yes! Look at that damage, baby! Woo! But wait, it's not dead yet. Don't worry, I have faith in myself and the heart of the gods, so I know for certain that I can do this. I have my sword, my shield,
and my axe,
and everything I've learned so far. I know I can do this. I lock onto the monster and I keep my distance just to learn the patterns. I try to dodge the first attack and I miss. Lost health already, not good. I try to go around it to get as many hits as possible before he attacks again. Not a lot, but it's still progress. Since I don't know how to dodge properly, I cover myself with the shield successfully. Well, most of the time. I deliver some powerful stabs that drain the bastard's health. Somehow I manage to dodge a lot of its blows and I keep on stabbing and keeping my distance as much as I can. Not gonna lie, I was getting anxious. I managed to land a critical hit and the health bar is almost done. I can feel it. Victory getting closer and closer and... I did it! I beat my first Dark Souls boss! The game lets me know I did it. Look at that message, baby. That was all me. I see the door open and of course I decide to rest and save the game. I also decided that if I can dodge properly, I might as well equip everything I have to avoid getting heavy damage in the future. I rest, I save, and I keep on going. There's the door. I know that the adventure is not over yet. I know there's still much to do, and once I open the door, it's gonna be me against the world. I don't care, so I keep on moving and open this giant door. It's a huge cliff in ruins with little to no vegetation. I try to explore as much as I can before continuing with my journey. Once I'm done, I get closer to the cliff only to be met with a giant crow. Another boss fight, I thought, but no. The crow isn't here to kill me, but rather to take me to my new destiny. Okay, time to go to my planet.